Hi guys! Today I'm going to be making a bit of a different video than usual. I know I typically make art videos on this channel, but for anyone who might check out my Instagram, they might know I am currently in the process of making some new videos about neurodiversity, specifically about what it's like to be autistic and have ADD. I think there's a bit of a divide and the sort of communication barrier between those that are on the spectrum, those that do have ADD, and essentially neurodivergent people, and those that might not have those struggles. I kind of want to help bridge that gap and kind of help develop a better understanding of one another, so that, I think we miss out on meeting so many cool people just because we don't understand one another. And I'd like to help with that, So, what exactly is stimming? Stimming is essentially a repetitive, self-stimulating behavior or habit that is most commonly identified as some sort of repetitive movement. Some self-stimulating behavior that is commonly seen in autistic people include flapping hands or rocking back and forth. But autistic people aren't the only people that stim. Stimming is done by everyone, and it can be done by anyone. It's just a matter of how much it helps people. It tends to help people on the autism spectrum and those with ADD a lot more than someone who might not necessarily have those issues. You not even realize that you might be stimming throughout the day. Like, it can be something as simple as bouncing your leg when you sit, or tapping your feet, or tapping your fingers against a desk, or clicking and spinning a pen around 50 million times. I, for one, am infamous for constantly cracking my knuckles, cracking my fingers, and cracking my neck all throughout the day, 50 million times throughout the day. And that's one of my stims. I do it 24/7. It bugs the living daylights out of everyone else, so I try not to do it in front of other people, but it makes me feel better. So, yeah. So why is stimming so important? Why do we need to do it? For those on the autism spectrum and those with ADD or ADHD, it can help decrease sensory overload or stress. It can help calm someone down, essentially. Or it's really good for those that are entering a new or uncomfortable environment. I, for one, have a really hard time in concert venues or venues with very loud music. Say, school dance, it's got a bunch of crazy lights, there's a lot of people, it's very loud. I have hearing sensitivities, and I experience sensory overload very often when I'm at something like a dance or at a concert. And I might have a really hard time in that environment because I'm not very used to it, even though I want to be there and I want to socialize with people. So this kind of stuff might help me feel better when I'm in that kind of environment, to sort of calm down, relax, and get more adjusted to it in a way that's more suitable for me so that I can carry on with the rest of my day, with my friends and everything. And right now, a lot of us are doing online school. I, for one, am doing online school, and in the virtual classroom environment, I am currently having a really hard time with reading my peers. It can be really overwhelming. I have a really hard time reading social cues and facial expressions, and I heavily rely on body language. So when you only see a person's face and they're not that expressive in their face, and you can't see their hands because you're in a Zoom call or a Google Meet, essentially, I don't know what's going on. I can't even really tell the fluctuation in a person's tone of voice, and it's very difficult for me. So I use a lot of the stuff that I have here on my desk, and I'll leave them on my desk and sort of just keep them in my hand so that no one really sees them, and just kind of use them throughout the day to sort of calm down, essentially. And it helps me focus, it helps me stay on track with what I'm supposed to be doing, and sort of just continue on with trying to socialize as best as I can, even though it can be really confusing and very overwhelming for me. So it really helps me calm down and stay on track throughout my school day. So today I'm going to be showing some of my favorite stims. I'm going to be giving each of my stims a rating out of 10 and tell you guys what I recommend best for, school, work environment, etc. So, I in particular have, again, hearing sensitivities. So, most of mine would be considered tactile or visual stims. I don't like really loud stims, but at the same time, that means that a lot of the stuff that I'll be recommending here is probably really good for a classroom environment because it's really quiet and you can just keep it in your hand all day. First up is my little stim jar. This has the majority of my things, so I'm gonna go through this first. Here's everything from the jar. This isn't all of my stims, again, just most of them, and these are some of my favorites. These are from a brand called Impressa on Amazon. They come in a pack of 3, and they all have varying degrees of difficulty to squeeze. They are not like foam ones, like your normal stress balls. I've had them for I think a month now, and I honestly can't find anything really wrong with them. They are super durable. Like, I will squeeze the life out of them all day long. And honestly, the yellow one's probably my favorite, and probably so is the red one. But the blue one's also really nice too. They're all great. They're super durable, and they're quiet, which is so nice. They're not slow rising like certain foam stress balls. They have a bit of a texture. It's kind of hard to see, but they're a little textured. But I honestly don't mind that. And they, I guess the only real downside, would have to be that they're a little bit sticky, that they collect like dust and dirt easily, but at the same time, they are so easy to clean. You can literally run it under water for a minute, like not even, and they'll be clean. It'll be perfectly fine. And you can just like pop it back in your bag or whatever. So 10 out of 10, honestly. Love these. So next up are these stretchy noodles. They're actually by, oh, okay, everything's trying to run away now. I'm gonna just put one there to round it up. They're just gonna round them up. Yeah. Alright. So, these are stretchy noodles. They might also be known as mochi noodles, depending on where you buy them. These are by the same people, I think, that made the stress balls, I think. Wait, no, they're not. Alright. I also got these from Amazon. They're awesome. Very durable so far. And they also have a glow-in-the-dark pack, I believe. Mine came in a pack of 6. I just have my 4 favorite colors from it here, but they're very stretchy, and I like to wrap them around my fingers and kind of just do this 24/7. These are great little handheld things to just mess with throughout the day. Great for strengthening your grip, for people with arthritis. I know these were also recommended to people with arthritis on Amazon, so maybe check that out if you also have arthritis. So, yeah, these are great. Yeah. Super durable, colorful. Another thing is, they don't get quite as, they're also, a similar issue with kind of getting, dirt and dust, but again, they're also really easy to clean, so 10 out of 10. So, I think next I'm gonna have to do this little guy. I got this for, I kid you not, 75 cents in a vending machine outside of ShopRite. It's got those little, I don't know if you remember, Orbeez, but these little water beads that are colorful, and it's sort of clear. It's not the clearest thing in the world, but yeah, it's still cool. You can just mess with it like that, and that's my only issue, which is it's that it makes that sound. Really, it's pretty durable. I've had this since I think June, and it's pretty durable. Yeah, I'm not really that worried about it breaking. I wouldn't use too much force on it though, because, you know, they're little delicate water beads. If anyone remembers what Morbies were like, it's very easy to break them. So, yeah, it's a better, like, visual kind of stim, and I honestly really hate the sound. But there's kind of two ways that you could use it. Most ones that are like this tend to be bigger, and they have some sort of, like, mesh or fishnet over it, so that they pop out more. And I honestly took the fishnet off because it's even louder with the fishnet, so I kind of made it a little quieter without it. But yeah, you can have it either way, really. So yeah, I think I'd give this like a 8.5, 9 out of 10. Yeah. Next up, this guy's kind of infamous amongst my friends, because I kind of scoured the internet to find one of these, only for the pink one to burst. And essentially he deflated within a minute. And now I have this gold one, and now he's starting to leak through, so I'm trying to be very gentle with him right now. But he's, like, stretchy, he's very squishy, like, really, really squishy, and he's very sticky. You can literally, like, smack him against the wall, and he will stick there. And he actually smells pretty nice, for some reason. Like, I'm thoroughly surprised that it doesn't smell like really harsh chemicals or anything. But, unfortunately, they are not durable whatsoever. I cannot recommend this to any person. As great as this thing is for me, it is not durable. It is dying on me. So yeah, I'd honestly give it a 0 out of 10 if it wasn't so awesome in every other way, other than the durability. So, someone please make, like, a cooler version of this. Like, a more durable version, you know? So I'm gonna give it, like, I hate to do this, but, like, a 7 out of 10. Because, again, not durable, and it's sticky, it sticks to stuff. And it's harder to clean it than, say, the balls or the stretchy noodles here. Okay, so. But it's, like, it's cheap, and I'm like, So, yeah, 7 out of 10. Would not recommend whatsoever, unless, you know, they make it more durable. Next up is this little squishy mochi. My friend suggested that I try one of these, and I got this one from Stimtastic. I also got a little chick one, but this is the pig. I got 2 of them. Also, they gave me this really nice bracelet that says "Just Keep Stimming." Next up is this little squishy mochi that I got from Stimtastic. I actually got 2 of them. Each one was $1.20. Actually, I would like to say, shout out to Stimtastic. They're awesome. Autistic owned stim toy brand. They have tons of, like, little stim and fidget toys for really cheap, and they're high quality. They're great, honestly. 10 out of 10. Just for Stimtastic. So totally check them out. I'm gonna put the link to the shop in the description, of course. But yeah, please check them out if you're, like, interested in any of this kind of stuff. Please. They're awesome. They have all sorts of stuff. This one is very sticky, which is, like, my only real deal with it. Also, these are not as, like you shouldn't stretch them or anything. They're not that durable, but, like, they're fun to just, like, put against, and, like, if you remember what, like, those, like, poppers from, like, being a kid, yeah. The chick one was especially, like, more poppy. It was a lot louder when it popped, but essentially you can do this all day if you really want to. Or you can just, like, all day long. I don't really do that all day long. Typically, I just like that all day long. The only issue is that I did that with the chick one, and it literally formed a hole within 2 days, and I was very upset. And these collect dirt and dust very easily, similarly to the other pig that I was showing you. So I would not really recommend this at school. If you drop it, you know it's going to be covered, and it's a little bit harder than, say, everything else to clean. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10. because, like, I like doing this, but I'm afraid to. These are a bunch of little, like, Yuako eraser animals. They're like little puzzle erasers, sort of. These were all over in the 2000s. All over the place. I got these from the Philadelphia Zoo. As far as I know, they still have them. It's kind of like a whole thing that they have in their gift shop. I tend to get like 5 new ones every year. These are just some of my favorites, because I kind of can't find some of my others, but this one's my favorite. It's like a little pig. And essentially, they're little puzzle erasers, you know. You can take them apart. They're very smooth, really nice. If you like really smooth things, and I like to just, like, you know, have it in my hand. Sort of just, like, kind of similar to pen spinning, just, like, twirl it around my fingers. And, like I said, these are really, really quiet, great for school. My only thing is, like, you know, they're small, which is good when you kind of want to be discreet about stimming in classrooms. So, yeah, 10 out of 10. I honestly can't. Like, the only thing is, like, yeah, they're small. Some have more pieces than others. Like, these aren't official Iwako erasers. These are some that my mom got me for Advent. So, they're a little more textured if you like that more. But they come with, like, little flowers, and some erasers might come with little pieces that you might lose. Like, this one's got, like, a trunk, you know. But that one's it's much more secure. So, 10 out of 10. I might worry about losing them. We're losing a certain piece, but I honestly haven't had that issue yet, so yeah, they're great. Really quiet, really smooth. You can take them apart quietly, like on your desk, and it shouldn't bother anyone. Alright, so, final things from the jar would have to be all these bouncy balls. You can literally get these, like, each one, like, 25 cents from vending machines in, like, I don't know, malls, grocery stores. I've always gotten these from, like, grocery stores. And honestly, what was great is that, like, they all come in, like, different textures and densities and colors and patterns. And, yeah, they're quiet, you know? So you can literally just, like, So, I think these are super underrated stim toys and, like, fidget toys. And highly recommend. Honestly, 10 out of 10. You know, they're easy to clean. Only thing is that, you know, bouncy balls are very easy to lose. So, I mean, great to keep in, like, your pencil case or something, you know? Or just, like, your pocket at work. So, yeah, we got these dudes. And this is about what's left. Alright, so this is a Squishmallow from Mercari that I got. Really nice dealer. Had it, like, with the official packaging and everything. It's really soft and smooth and very, you know, squishy. This one's a little clip-on one. They come in, I think, 3 or 4 different sizes, from, like, 3.5 inches, like this one, a little clip-on, to the standard, like, 8-inch plush without it. And then, without this little clip. And then the big 16-inch ones, and I think maybe 24-inch. But they're, like, yeah, you can get, like, a really large pillow or, like, a really little plush of, like, the same dude, which is nice. I named him Mako, for anyone who's, like, an Avatar, The Last Airbender fan. I hope you know why. Yeah. Next is this little dinosaur that I have since named Kiwi. I got him in Mitsuwa, New Jersey. So, really nice. A friend of mine got me this. And he's, you know, awesome. It's like a little dinosaur. It's like from the dinosaur collection by Belzy. I think these are both companies in California, but yeah, like, these are pretty easy to find online. These are a little bit harder, but still really great. Personally, I like this one a little bit more, but oh my gosh, like, also really soft, especially, like, this white part here. Very soft, and again, this one's got, like, a little version of it, and then, like, a really big version. It's like the baby and then the mom, but they're, like, the same one, essentially. It's just different size, so they're great. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And finally, I don't know if anyone remembers these, but like in the 2000s, they were like these things called Webkins. I was honestly obsessed with Webkins as a kid. This was my first Webkins. This is the Cocker Spaniel. He's like the model for, I guess, Webkins world, still, I believe. And essentially there's like a little virtual world. It comes with like a tag, and it gives you a code, and like you can like play with the pet that you bought in the virtual world as well, which I think is personally like really cool for autistic kids, or just, you know, even like neurotypical kids. Like Webkins was awesome, and it's still up, you know, like I wish it would come back into like popularity. It's still, you know, really good game. But essentially there are like tons upon tons of different types of Webkins. They all have like different like textures and everything, you know, different styles, you know. You can get one that looks like your pet and everything, like your actual pet. And they're great. This one I've had since I was like 3, and I refuse to get rid of it because, you know, like it's soft, and it's also got like really soft ears that I can mess with, and like the little hairs that it's so much fun to mess with, you know. And it's nice. It's nice to have, you know. 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's about it. Something that I hope maybe those who aren't on the spectrum can take away from this is the importance of stimming. I know, unfortunately, a lot of fidget toys are banned at schools. That actually happened at my middle school. There was a guy in my class who kind of like started up the whole trend with fidget spinners. I know everyone's like, oh, cringy 2010 stuff. Fidget spinners, no, let's not bring them back. But like, honestly, they were cringy because people that didn't actually need them made it a whole thing and made it a distraction in class, because people that actually need them, the whole reason that they were made really is for people on the autism spectrum and people that have ADD and ADHD. And when you don't necessarily need it, but you say go and see someone else that does need it and they have it, or something like it, you know, something like any of this stuff, you know, and you're like, oh, cool, can I try it? And that's perfectly fine, you know, trying it out. Just, you know, don't make fun of them. You don't know what they need it for, you know. And also, don't start bringing your own stuff in if you don't actually need it. Like, rule of thumb, if you don't really need it in order to focus in class or to stay in a certain environment that you might not be the most comfortable in, like a school environment, that can be super overwhelming for someone on the spectrum. Or you need help paying attention or focusing, like someone with ADD or ADHD, you know? Like, that's what the fidget spinner's for. If you're just bringing it in because, oh, this class is boring and I want something else to do, you know, so I'm just going to distract myself, that's not the point of them. And when you do that, you might in turn be affecting someone who actually needs it. This happened at my school. And it got so bad to the point that they banned fidget spinners at my middle school, along with like other fidget toys. They literally banned fidget toys, which is awful. A ton of kids on the autism spectrum and a ton of kids with ADD, and it was awful for the remainder of the year because I didn't have things that I could really mess with. I was starting to realize, oh wow, like a lot of this stuff really helps me out. And right when I finally was like starting to discover, oh wow, like this might actually help me pay attention in class, this might help me feel a little less overwhelmed at school, because I was starting to notice how sensitive my hearing was and how easily overwhelmed I was at school, you know. And it was at that same time that they got rid of fidget toys, and I started to have a harder time at school, you know. Like, even a little thing like that, even if you don't mean it to be that way, you don't mean to essentially exclude or unintentionally hurt someone like that, it can have a lot of consequences, you know. So I hope that this video, along with, like, you know, maybe researching a little bit more about stimming on your own, you know? I hope it helps develop an understanding with people that might not necessarily need all this stuff to kind of understand why it's needed, why it's so important, how it actually helps other people, and to, you know, just be a little bit more considerate. Maybe don't make fun of a person that has stuff like this in class. You don't necessarily know if that person really needs it, you know? And I know this is kind of like a difficult subject for some people. I know there's like this whole idea like, oh, these kids are childish or there's something wrong with them if they have like a whole bunch of things, but that's so untrue, you know? It helps them feel better, and just because they're a little different from you doesn't mean that they're less, you know? And even if you don't mean it, your actions have consequences. If anyone really wants to like talk about this, I'm perfectly happy to talk about this in like the comments or whatever. And if anyone has any suggestions about what things about neurodiversity or autism or ADD that you'd like me to talk about in later videos, or, you know, suggestions of what you'd like me to review, what you'd like me to maybe try out, you know, what my thoughts are on certain things about the autism community, about like STEM toys, perfectly fine with like reviewing stuff like that. I think the next video I'd like to make about autism would have to be about sensory overload and how to maybe help someone that is experiencing sensory overload. But yeah, you know, questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. Suggestions for what I should make my next video about, or what do you think I should try out? Let me know. This was a lot of fun to make. So, yeah, have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.